What up, everyone? It's your boy, Satemangala, the Reverend of the Revolution, welcoming you to another edition of your Daily Revolution, the podcast and the movement that helps you to wake up, turn your brain on, and to prosper every single day in every part of your life. Today's topic, is it really worth it? Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Making crepes for my boys this morning. A few times a week, I'm going to make it home from the gym, and I'm going to make them some type of breakfast. And as I sat there making crepes, they smell so good, right? Sugar and eggs and vanilla extract and flour and a little bit of oil. And then my boys put some, obviously not the healthiest of breakfast. And as I'm making this and smelling, I'm looking at it and thinking to myself, man, this would taste good for a moment. And it would taste good in my mouth, and then it would taste good going down, but then what? And as I made the crepe, I came to this conclusion of, man, is it really worth it? And it's a question you got to ask yourself for many of the things that you do. Now, if you go into the 13 principles, one of the principles is that clarity is power. Meaning, if you know what you want, it can really give you some incredible power. It can give you direction and guidance. And what ends up happening is when we are not clear about the life we want to live, about the legacy we want to leave, about the results we want to create, and about the person we want to become, when we lack clarity around that, and we are unclear, we are uncertain, well then you'll never have to ask, is it worth it? You just do whatever you want. You just eat the crepes or the sugar. You just avoid the gym. You settle inside of your relationship. You do the things that go against former or previous commitments that you've made because you don't have clarity. But when one is clear, when one really knows what they want, when one has this clarity of, I know what I want, and I know not more than just what I want, I know what I'm committed to, then you can ask the question, is it really worth it? Will it be worth it to eat? So as this morning as I'm making the crepes, I'm like, man, would it be worth it? And I had a desire to taste it for a half of a second, even if that's possible. And as I thought, will it be worth it? The answer was, of course not. Of course it's not going to be worth it, because if I want to be a lean, healthy machine, and I want to have a body that exudes power and health, and I want to be able to run long distances and be a demonstration and an example and a light for my sons, for my wife, for my family, for my clients, and the people that I could possibly impact. Of course it's not going to be worth it for that one moment of pleasure. See, to create what you want requires discipline. Discipline falls under this thing called commitment. And as a creator, look, you got to just ask yourself, what do I really want? And why does it matter? And then a question along the way, when you get tempted to break from what's required, right? To break free from doing what's required, you've got to ask yourself, is it really worth it? So how does this apply in your life, my friends? Well, if you go to your physical body and your health, just the food you eat, avoiding working out and taking care of your body in a way that would have you be powerful, just say, is it worth it not going to the gym? Is it worth it not exercising? Is it worth it overeating or undereating or not taking care of yourself? Is it really worth it pumping yourself full of stimulants and all kinds of things? I'm not going to call them, good or bad. I'm just going to say, is it worth it? Does it bring you what you want? In regards to spirituality and purpose, is it worth it? Is it worth it to avoid it? Is it worth it to break commitments or covenants or agreements that you've made? Is it worth, going against what you believe to be true? In regards to your relationships, is it worth it? I know people that make some poor choices. They break the agreements that they've made. Whether that's infidelity or emotional affairs, look, is it worth it? And if you know what you want for your life, and if you're clear about the type of marriage, relationship, what you want with your children, if you're clear about that, look, you're going to have to choose. Prosperity is a choice, and so is mediocrity. And when you get tempted to spend more time in the office chasing the dollar, or if you get tempted to Go do something that would take you away from your family or that would break the trust of your spouse or your children. Ask powerfully, is this really worth doing? Many, many years and decades of joy and trust and happiness can be lost in simple moments of weakness and for a few moments of pleasure. It's like the individual who trades eternity for a cheap toy. And in regards to business, I had an individual say, man, sometimes I just want to go and get a job. An entrepreneur running her own business. Sometimes I question if I'm good enough. I'm like, yeah, so do you think it'd be worth it to go get a job? And why would you want to get a job? And I asked her these questions, and I was like, well, then I don't have to have all this stress, and I could just collect a paycheck. Look, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a business owner, if you're someone who wants to create, you already know that's never going to fly. It might be worth it now, but man, if you don't pay the price, if you don't do what's required now, you pay a steep price later. So, look, brothers and sisters, ask yourself, is what you're doing worth it? Will it really count? Or will it simply be a moment of pleasure, like eating the crepe that will taste good for 2 seconds and then this deep, like, dang it, why did I do that? So I'm going to invite you to take on a challenge. Number one, to go get really clear about your intention for what you want. The home you live in, the type of life you live, the type of contributions you make. Is it what you really want? And are the current daily behaviors bringing you what you want? Is it worth it? And if it's not worth it, look, you know that you got a choice. You can choose out of it. If you want something different, choose out of it. So that's the lesson today. That's the message. Making crepes today, and look, I can tell you right now, it's not worth it to eat the crepes for me. I'm clear that I want to be healthy and that I'm committed to being healthy. I'm clear that I want to have more energy in my body. I'm clear that because of that energy, it's going to give me an opportunity to be powerful, to really impact other people, to make a large difference in the world, to create value for other people so that dollars follow the value, the impact and the influence is made on other people. And yes, I know what I want. So it's not worth it. The question for you is it worth it? Is what you're doing today, is breaking the agreements, is doing the things that go against what's required, is it worth it for you? And if not, you already know what's next. It's your boy Satem Mangala reminding you, if you want to create a life of real radical results, a life that you love, it will require you to get into a relentless pursuit with a ruthless commitment to pay the piper every single day so that you can get to the top of your mountains where your prize, your promised lands, and your possibilities are waiting, just waiting for you. Brothers and sisters, the revolution has begun. Will you join me? I'm out. For more info on joining the revolution and living your greatest life of prosperity today, go to www.yourdailyrevolution.com and join us in waking up, turning your brain on, and prospering today.